Hi there, welcome to I Love Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Libra energy. First, we're going to get some cards out of one deck, then we're going to, oh wow, got a whole bunch. We got Rest and Rejuvenate, the Sun, Door to Value, Magician in the Mirror, Man Holding Coin, and Door to Spirit. And the reason those came out is because of strategy, which Libra energy is air sign energy of the mind. And, Libra energy is also represented by the scales of justice. We're all going to do what we think is just and fair based on what our truth is, right? How we view ourselves, how we view the world, what drives and motivates us. The Rest and Rejuvenation card reminds me of the Four of Swords, which is also Libra energy. We all can have experienced some past pain and heartbreak, and we're trying to either heal from that situation so we don't get into a similar situation, that we see the truth where we needed to heal and grow and mature, where other people needed to heal and grow and mature. The Sun, being willing to deal with the truth, illuminate the truth, love ourselves, give ourselves the things that we wish other people would have given us. And the people who do that really are in flow with the universe, which is being in an abundant energy. Why? Because they've learned these lessons in life and realizing by loving themselves and appreciating themselves and their worth and value and what they bring to the table and seeing where they need to grow and heal and mature themselves, they believe they do have the resources to begin to manifest their dreams into reality, which we all do at any given moment in time, because it all kind of starts in our mind. And then the Sun is Leo energy, fire sign energy. It all starts kind of in the imaginative, intuitive, creative realm. And then if we start with the Magician is like Gemini, also air sign energy, plus Virgo energy, earth sign energy, where we start to take the lessons that we've learned and we're more balanced, we're healed, we've grown, we've matured ourselves in some way, and we start putting that into action. Then in the Man Holding Coin, which is like the King of Pentacles, which I view as Capricorn energy, and shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil, and we all have our shadowy nature, our more immature, indulgent, prideful, egotistical, self-centered, defensive, nature. In high vibe, the King of Pentacles means we learn lessons in life, and we freed ourselves from some ideas that we might have had before that maybe could have been influenced more by ego and being manipulated by the world. And we went to go indulge in those things, and we thought for sure that was going to work out the way that we wanted. But the Four of Swords comes after the Three of Swords, where it caused conflict between our mind and our heart, and we might have gotten heartbroken. So we do this work within ourselves to deal with the truth, to heal, so that we learn lessons in life, so we don't repeat old patterns over and over and over again, just hoping for a different outcome. We've learned some lessons. And if shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil, we're harnessing a more high vibrational Capricorn energy within ourselves. We've kind of freed ourselves from some of those things that manipulate us. We've kind of aligned, and that's part of growing up in the world, more connected with our more true self of hope and faith and belief in ourself and in our dreams. That would be the goal, right? But we've all got lessons to learn, right? And sometimes when one person could have learned some lessons in life, they're at one stage of life. Some other people still might be further ahead than you at learning lessons. Other people might be further behind you on learning some lessons. And there's still some people that, pride comes before the fall. And, we can all still be thinking, oh no, I could heal, deal with the truth, illuminate the truth, But I have a different idea. So in our Libra energy, we can all decide, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think instead, I'm going to still operate from my more shadowy Leo energy of pride, ego, defensiveness. And I still think things will work out for me the way I want, but we kind of might be being manipulated by our more shadowy Virgo and Gemini energy. Still kind of more caught up in ourselves for these things of the world. We don't want to quite accept the truth and put that truth into practice. So, kind of in our ego, we're going to keep moving forward the way we were moving forward, thinking maybe I'll just present myself as a more stable, grounded, emotionally mature person than I am. And if I look a certain way, have a certain amount of power, influence, status, money, attractiveness, whatever, there'll be people who will think I really am more free of things that manipulate me than I am. I might even want to get in a new relationship, go get a new job, go get married. Because some people, their whole life is about creating an illusion in the magician card, right? And if they go get in a new job, a new relationship, get married, whatever, if that's what they think will create this illusion that they're not who they used to be, that they've done all the work like some other people who have done that are really doing the work within themselves to heal and grow and mature themselves, that they'll look like they've done that work too. But, you know, I guess we could maybe look at the door to spirit as fire sign energy, because I do look at fire sign energy, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo as either our more creative, inspired nature and hope and faith and belief and love, or we're still kind of motivated and inspired by ourselves or the world, or creating an illusion, trying to control people, trying to manipulate people. And I think there you have some more lessons to learn, and like God's gonna work with them as they go on their journey, because life is all about learning these lessons. And again, some people might have their own plan, but again, if we're not aligning with the more taking action in truth and love and being authentic, growing up and maturing and healing ourselves, treating other people the way we like to be treated, people can have whatever strategy they want, but they're not going to have the same outcome as people who are operating from truth and love and growing and healing and maturing themselves and treating other people the way they like to be treated. It might look like, like everybody can have a job, everybody can be in friendship groups, everybody can be in a relationship, but why are they in it? Is it a strategy? Are they, the whole thing is too with the King of Pentacles, the kings can represent how we present ourselves in the world, and people can present themselves in the world any way they want. Is that the truth of who they are, or is that just a strategy? Living more from their mind than their art. Presenting themselves as these just and fair and stable and grounded and loving and emotionally mature people. And they're not. So, high vibe people have already been in relationships with people who present themselves. So, the kings, it can be male or female, because when we go present ourselves in the world, it's kind of considered in masculine energy because people really don't know how we think and feel. Are we operating from truth and love, being authentic, or are we operating more from ego because we haven't healed? And we just have this idea that I'll go do this. I'm sure this will make me feel better. But the truth is, when we do this work within ourselves to actually heal, that is what sets us free. To heal from our own self-limiting beliefs, see what manipulates us, free ourselves from those things manipulating us. And if we haven't, we can think, we can ignore it. I don't have to deal with it. But eventually the truth gets illuminated, because how differently do you act in a job, a friendship, a relationship if you have offered love to your past pain and heartbreak and your fears and your insecurities? Then how you act, you can create an illusion, but when it comes down to how you actually interact with people, you kind of interact differently. You either operate from your defensive nature, your prideful nature, your bossy nature, your controlling nature, trying to manipulate and control people, or you really are who you say you are. And eventually people see through the illusion. We can all start things, but as time goes by, if some people are more emotionally mature, stable, grounded, less manipulated by some things than some other people, less greed, pride, ego, defensiveness, immaturity, eventually they kind of, they're trying to move a relationship forward to like bring a dream into reality. And they kind of realize maybe that it's not happening the way they thought. And that's when they might kind of wonder, why isn't this moving forward the way I thought it was going to move forward? And then they kind of wonder, I don't want it because I'm up in my head or something. I don't want to be being paranoid. I need to work through my own issues to make sure that I'm coming from a balanced place. And am I being authentic and loving and encouraging and truthful and authentic about where I would like this to go and what I think is just and fair in a relationship? And then do I listen to my intuition, or am I staying in illusion about the people I'm in a relationship with? We can all want to stay in denial of the truth. I don't think this person is as emotionally mature or stable or grounded as I thought they were. Or maybe someone created the illusion they'd like to move forward in a more formal commitment, but it seems to be just an illusion. How long are we going to stay in an illusion with people? Some people get in relationships with other people just to manipulate someone else. That's like a strategy. I'm going to get in a relationship with you to try to manipulate someone else who I do want to be in a relationship with. And I'm using you as a pawn, which isn't a very just and fair person, right? Some people are in new beginnings. Some people, can look to getting in a relationship with them to make them feel more balanced, to make them feel more stable and grounded, because we can all like supportive, encouraging environments, but some people don't create an illusion that they love someone or want to marry them or date them just to feel more stable. I mean, hopefully you'd be honest with people that, I need to heal and I don't know if I'm ready for a more serious relationship. And some people could have done that, but are they being authentic? Some people just create an illusion. Oh, I need to heal, and oh my gosh, and I really want to move this forward, but I still need, and it's just all a strategy, Because some people, if they can get someone to keep indulging them for as long as those people are willing to indulge them, they'll keep staying in it. But they have no intention of really bringing justice to the situation. And when people feel and listen to their intuition that I have a dream of what I think is just and fair, I don't think this is just and fair. I am being just, fair, authentic, loving, emotionally mature. I am ready to move forward to bring my dream into reality. Do you want to come with me or not in that energy? And that could really make some people have to really think about what their truth is. What do I want to manifest? What do I think is just and fair? Why do I want to be in this relationship maybe versus a different relationship? Is this person really on the same page as me? Do we love each other? If you get in a relationship and you don't really love each other, Well, what if someone comes along who seems to be someone who is aligned with your truth? Well, are you going to reveal the truth? Some people just want to try to confuse people about the truth because I want to go get in a relationship with someone else, but I don't want to tell people the truth of that, and I don't want anybody to know that. Well, there's going to be karmic consequences for that. The best advice is to be just and fair. Treat other people the way you like to be treated. Do not try to manipulate people and get in relationships with people for ulterior purposes. Be authentic. Be honest. Don't be in denial. Hold other people accountable for their actions. And if people why you think they want to move forward in the relationship, some people want to move forward in a relationship just because I want to be in a relationship. I don't want to not be in a relationship. Or because of the status or the ego or the image, and it's not really love. Are we in matched relationships? People have free will to live their life whatever way they want. If you're prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, materialistic, self-indulgent, whatever, just get in a relationship with someone who wants to live their life that way too. That's a just and fair relationship. You're on the same page. What's unjust and unfair is someone who knows that they don't want to temper their ego, that is their truth, but yet they want to be in relationships with people who are more tempered in their ego. How about you be emotionally mature and loving and nurturing, and I not be? Well, that's my idea of the dream relationship. And that's kind of this illusion they live in, because anybody can have any idea of what they think is just and fair. You be loving and nurturing, I won't be. Perfect. I look like I'm more loving and nurturing because I'm in a relationship with you, but that's really not my truth. This works for me. And eventually the loving people who see through the illusion want to be in a relationship with people who are more on the same page as them. And they have to do this own work within themselves. We can love people. We could love a job. We could love the paycheck. We could love the career. Why do I stay in it if I'm working with people who I think are bossy or controlling or manipulative or immature, or their idea of what is just and fair is not my idea? We have to work through that to love and believe in ourselves that I am not going to stay in an environment where we have mismatched ideas of what we think is just and fair. And do I love and believe in myself that either if I'm the one who's able to fire someone, that I fire them, or get out of my codependent nature on them, or I leave that job because I'm not going to let someone who isn't acting with character and integrity, basically, to keep me trapped in something, And there's people in the world that are looking to trap people. You go apply for a new job and they're like, oh, we're these just and fair and loving and encouraging and supportive people, and there's all these opportunities and we want you to grow to your full potential. And then you, in like the door to value, you take the job, and then after you're there for a while you realize it was all an illusion they created. That they're bossy and controlling and petty and immature. It's just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I was manipulated in the Magician card. These people created an illusion about how they run things and who they are, but that is not the truth of who they are. They might buy into the illusion themselves that they're those type of people, but they got a lot of growing up to do, right? And then it's like, if I feel like somebody wasn't being truthful and authentic, or someone likes to live more from their mind than their heart, instead of being authentic and loving and warm and encouraging, I like to be around people, because if I get in relationships, Hopefully, if you're a high vibe person, you're just and fair and loving and encouraging and supportive, wanting them to grow to their full potential because you want to grow to your full potential. And again, other people are like, well, I like being in a relationship with someone like you, but I'm not in that energy to do that kind of equal give and take with you in that way. But I would like to keep being in a relationship with you. And it's like, our truth has to be the same, because Virgo energy also talks about we're going to invest our time, energy, and effort into what our truth is. And if some people are more about themselves, more about indulging in their more worldly, shadowy nature, or it's more about the ego or the image or the money or the status or them being indulged, and the other people, their truth is, I want to put work and effort to free myself from being in that type of energy, to be more authentic and loving and just and fair. You're kind of different goals, different ideas of what you think is just and fair, or things that you think will make you feel better or get you those things of the world that, or a status or image that you want. And then Capricorn energy too can be, what do I view as being victorious? Is it money and status and image and power and what I wear and what I drive and who I hang out with and how people view me? High vibe people are like, I want a balance of things. I think that's a victory. I don't need all the money. I don't need all the attention. I want to have, like everyone else, I would like to have stability and security in my life and enjoy the finer things in life. But I think true victory is, because everybody can put in work and effort to have those things, but true victory is being in relationships where I have grown and matured myself to be able to maintain balance with other emotionally mature people who are authentic and loving and warm and abundant in lots of different ways. And I appreciate their own unique talent, skills, and interest, and what they bring and contribute to the situation. I appreciate and value my own unique things, and people can bring different things. One person could be much more abundant in their loving, inspiring nature. One person could be more abundant in their social clout or their power or money, or their attractiveness or whatever. But it's equally important. And, again, some people are like, I want what those people have, but I'm not willing to be more authentic. I'm going to hide that I'm motivated to have those things, but I don't want to put in the work and effort to become that type of person. It's just a strategy to get those things. So, what else is going on in the story? We have the King of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. The reason it came out is because of the Ten of Wands. If people are really trying to move forward in a career field, because the King of Pentacles can talk about career fields or relationships, some people are really putting a lot of work and effort to try to get someone to either move forward in a relationship with them or stay in a relationship with them. Other people could be really more focused, putting work and effort into having stability and security within themselves. Maybe because they did invest in people who kind of created an illusion, and part of being balanced within yourself is, I can be an authentic, loving, emotionally nurturing person, but I also have to feel stable and grounded within myself. I also need to have stability and security in my life, because otherwise people can try to manipulate me using those things of the world to control and manipulate me, and I don't want them to control and manipulate me for those reasons. For some people who've realized who they're mismatched with, they could be moving away from them. Some people know the Four of Wands and Aries energy is about the self. Some people, they are more about themselves, and they are more inspired by the world and themselves, or indulging in these things of the world that they are sure is the answer to their problems, or money and materialism. And if those aren't the people in their life, they could be moving away from those people, because you might be loving and warm and just and fair, but that's not my truth. This is what drives and motivates me. And then on the flip side, there could be people who could be in relationships with people who really want to stay in a relationship with them, but I don't feel like you're being authentic. I think you want to keep moving forward in it because of more of these, how you benefit, or because of the status or the image and things like that. But I don't really think you're inspired by love or being more authentic. And I want to be in relationships with people who want to be in relationships with me because of wanting to be in a just and fair and authentic and loving relationship. That's what motivates and inspires them. So, what's coming up next in the story? And for the people that are kind of caught up in the illusion, and they are with some people in their life where it is a mismatched relationship, if they're not seeing through the illusion, that's why they feel really overwhelmed. Because there's a part of us that doesn't want to see through the illusion, because then we would have to take action. And we'd rather take action staying in the situation, not maybe revealing our truth of, I feel overwhelmed, or I feel like I'm putting in all the work and effort, or I feel like you're indulging yourself in this relationship, or you are way more mature and balanced than I am, and this is really a struggle for me to kind of come across as that type of person, because that is not the truth of who I am. It's kind of like having a job where you tried to create an illusion that you have, again, much more maturity and background and capability than you do. And sometimes people who aren't, on the same maturity level as some other people, or in career, they don't really have, they could have exaggerated their resume. You get in those relationships with people who are more authentic, are more balanced, and you try to act that way, but really, it's not, you're tipped out of balance. And you're really kind of operating from your ego, and you're trying to create this illusion that that's who you are too. And you're in a job where you're trying to create the illusion that you know this shit when you don't. If you're in a situation that's kind of, you really didn't learn the lessons to be at that stage of life, it'll feel really overwhelming, right? So then we have the Four of Pentacles, and the reason is because of the Seven of Swords. Some people really want something to work, and they're putting a lot of work and effort to try to make it work. But part of the why should it be so hard? If we're in alignment with people, and a job is a right fit, and a friendship and romantic relationship is the right fit, it should flow. That's called going with the flow. Is there going to be challenges and ups and downs? Yes, and we offer truth and love and encouragement. And if everybody is willing to do that work within themselves, to deal with the truth of the things that overwhelm them within themselves, and kind of the things that they're kind of tempted by, and, are we on the same page or are we not? And if we keep trying to kind of like push an issue, we eventually might kind of realize that some of the people that we were trying to love and encourage to move forward in life the way we want to move forward in life, that, eventually, like, that's not their truth. The Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy, which can be, I have this dream, and again, if we're in a more mismatched and people created an illusion like, oh yeah, I'm willing to do that. Oh yeah, I'm on the same page as you. And then as time goes by, it's like, oops, yeah, no, that isn't what I'm willing to do. And same way if we're in a relationship and someone is always like trying to go get us to, I don't know, move forward in something and really trying to maybe convince us or something, eventually it's like, wait a minute. The Four of Pentacles can be like coming to a stop because the Five of Pentacles would be moving forward. And it's like, wait a minute. Why are we, what is our truth? Because the Five of Swords can be the Five, the Six, and the Seven of Swords are all Aquarius energy, also represented by the Star card, that we have a dream. Why? The Two of Swords is the Libra energy. Am I listening to my intuition? Or is someone trying to make me not listen to my intuition? Am I overwhelmed? Am I living more from my mind than my heart? What about the people I'm in a relationship with? Are they kind of more immature? Are Four of Pentacles in Capricorn? Can be that some people have this certain way of living life and they could create an illusion that they're willing to bring a dream into reality or look at life from a higher perspective, but maybe they're really not. And maybe more kind of motivated and inspired by the world. Everybody could kind of want to hold on. Employers want you to stay at the job. You'd kind of like to stay at the job. Friendships, relationships, everybody would kind of like to hold on to it because we kind of like the things that we've already put work and effort in to work, right? But there might come a time where people really have to think about, is this my truth? Is this not my truth? I could have been really, the fire energy could mean I was really attracted to someone, or, I really thought this was going to work, and maybe I wasn't listening to my intuition. Now I might have some people that really want me to move forward with them, but now that more time has went by and I don't know, either that this isn't my truth, it is kind of overwhelming, this isn't my dream, I kind of thought this would make me happy to live my, it's the same way with career fields. People can get in a career field and it's really not in alignment with what their truth is, and then every day is like drudgery to go to work, and it's like, oh my god, I really wanted this to work, and I did invest this time and effort into it, and are we willing to listen to our intuition? And when our intuition tells us, if you keep going, because at any point in our life, we're headed in a certain direction, right? Well, are we willing to take a moment to maybe put a lot of work and effort into doing this work within ourselves? Wait a minute, I need to get clear about what my truth is, because I could have been manipulated by these things of the world, manipulated by other people, people in my family, people in a workplace, people in my community, people I'm in relationship with, not in relationship with. What drives and motivates me to do the things I do? And I don't want to do them because I so badly don't want to do something else, But why am I, some people are trying to protect themselves from being hurt. Some people had loving, encouraging people in their life, but that either they weren't ready to be in a more mature relationship, wanted to focus on their career, could have departed from some loving people in their life to go pursue those things. And then later in life, they kind of realize, wait a minute, I might have all these things of the world, but I think I got so caught up in the illusion of the world, and the Seven of Swords can also be, I got so caught up in myself or these things or having a certain status or image that it feels like I'm living more from my mind than my heart, and there's a maximum of 10 in every suit. So if I'm 7 of Swords up in my head, what is the 3 of Cups in my heart? Is it that I'm being emotionally manipulated more by other people in the world, or am I really operating from a foundation of love? Am I doing what I love? Am I in relationships with people that I love? Are the people that I'm in relationship with me? Are they in it for love, or is it more for these things of the world? And there's times we need to pause to think about, do I need to do this work within myself before I move forward anymore? And then there's other people who never plan to move forward with a dream. And like I say, some people will keep indulging in a relationship until the other person is kind of like, I'm not going any further unless this is going, and we're going, things have to change basically, because I feel shadowy 7 of Swords can be that, I feel like you're kind of being deceptive and manipulative, and I feel like you maybe use your emotions manipulatively, your sexuality, your words, your status, your image, your power, your looks, all those things to try to manipulate me, to keep me staying in the relationship. But I'm starting to think it's not even love for you. And if I am motivated by love, and I'm not willing to keep moving forward with it unless we have this new beginning to invest in kind of going on this journey of being in a more committed, mature, formal commitment or something. And that can be when some people are like, oop, gig's up, time to go. They're not willing to keep moving forward with me if I'm trying to maybe confuse them about the truth. They're not buying it anymore. I either have to be authentic and really put work and effort to bring this dream into reality, or they're not going to move forward anymore. And it's kind of like it puts a decision on some people. What is your truth? And then at the end there, we have the 7 of Pentacles, which is Taurus energy, which is about relationships, marriages, workplaces, just kind of all these different institutions of the world that we have the free will to invest in. But Taurus energy also has to do with our philosophy of life. What is our truth? What is our idea of the dream life? Are we more worldly focused, self-focused, selfish, manipulative, egotistical, immature, bossy, controlling? Are we someone who walks the talk? Are we authentic and loving and just and fair? Are we inspired to want to be in relationships with people, put work and effort to make relationships move forward? And some people are like, but that takes work and effort. How about you put in the work and effort? I don't want to put in the work and effort. If you keep putting in all the work and effort, I'll keep indulging myself in it. And that's when some people are like, I'm not going to keep investing in a relationship where everyone isn't inspired to want to hold on to this relationship because it's aligned with their truth and a dream that they have, inspired by truth and love. If that's not why you're in it, then go invest in someone else. And that's what and then some people, they have this way of living life and they kind of like to stay in their comfort zone. Because in order to move forward in life differently, you'd be stepping outside your comfort zone. And then they'd have to invest in more fire sign energy, a different fire sign energy, which this is Aries and Sagittarius. This is Leo, which again can be more fixed, more about the world, more about ourselves. In order to step out of our comfort zone, we would have to be more bold and brave and confident to be willing to learn lessons in life, to not keep doing things the way we've done it, to be willing to invest on going on this adventure, because Sagittarius is about going on an adventure. You mean we're not going to follow a template? We're not going to do things like this? This is what my family did. I act like this. I say this. You act like that. You say that. That's perfect. They were happy. I want to follow that template. It's like, well, that might have worked for them in their life. And that might have been your dream. And if that's your dream, you need to go find someone else. I want to go on my own adventure, create my own life. I don't want to keep repeating that pattern. That might be your idea of the dream life. That's not my idea of the dream life. And I am going to distance myself from you, even though I could have love for you. I wish this had worked out. But your dream and how you want to move forward is different than my dream. And I do want to step out of my comfort zone. I do want to listen to my intuition and love to guide me and create my own dream. But some people don't believe in their own dreams. And they can make their life more about conforming to the world, make their life, living their life like other people in their life live their life, and maybe how those people told them to live their life. And it's more about, there could be a part of them that would like to go live their own life, but then they kind of get caught up in their head about really investing in living their truth and being more authentically themselves in the world. And maybe, Libra energy kind of represented by the judgment card. Well, what would people say? And, what if I really lived the life that I really wanted to live, and I went and got in the career field or the friendships or the relationships, and I didn't give a damn because I really shouldn't give a damn. If I'm going out in the world in an energy of truth and peace and love and emotional maturity and treating other people the way I like to be treated, then the world can judge away. Are they going to have a problem with that? Oh, there's a lot of people who have a problem with that. Because you're not making your life about conforming to the world, and all the shadowy Taurus can be like all these invisible rules in your head. You can't do this, you can't do that. You have to act like this, don't act like that. Don't be more authentically yourself. Kiss these people's butt. Don't hang out with those people. Only hang out with these people. Wear this. Talk like this. Do this. Do that. All these things to try to create this illusion in the world of making your life, I don't know, trying to fit some mold. And it's like, I'd really rather go live my authentic life. And if people have a problem with me being just and fair and authentic and encouraging and loving, and some people just aren't ready to live their more authentic life. And because they kind of get caught up in their head, the sevens, I kind of view the sevens as kind of like the tipping point, because we have all the different traits and characteristics of the zodiac sign. So, which ones have we invested more time, energy, and effort into? And high vibe Aries of the Four of Wands would be that we have learned all these lessons in life, and I'm no longer letting one aspect of myself, or one or two or three aspects of myself, be more important than other aspects of myself. Like some aspects of myself, maybe my emotional, creative, inspired nature, that's hardly worth investing any time and energy into. I should live for my mind. I should make my life about the world and these things that I emotionally want to invest in, not my creative, inspired, intuitive nature. That's hardly worth a thing, And other people, but they were all gifts that we were given. And you could look at our fire sign nature as our more creative, inspired, passionate nature. Really, can we, again, go be in a job because this makes logical, practical sense? Stay in a relationship because this makes logical, practical sense. But it's overwhelming. It's not aligned with what motivates and inspires us. live more from our mind than our heart. We don't have any cards out here that really represent emotional energy. And some people do live more from their mind than their heart. They kind of just use their emotions and might think the only thing they're good for is to kind of emotionally manipulate people. There's something they use to emotionally manipulate others, but they could be people who are very disconnected from connecting in with their own emotions, which we are emotionally complex human beings, and they can be confusing. And some people decided at some point in their life that they're not important. I'm not going to work through them. I don't even want to deal with them. They're confusing. I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart. I'm going to think I can do that in the world. I think I can create this illusion about who I am. And if I get in one relationship and that makes me look like I'm a certain type of person, then maybe I can move on to someone else. And it's kind of like a social climber, you know? Anyway, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Libra energy, who are balanced within themselves, are being authentic, have put in work and effort to heal and grow and mature themselves, moving forward and holding on to the people in their life who are in that same energy or looking to go find those type of people. What's coming up for them? We have the Seven of Swords in the world. So high vibe people are listening to their intuition, and then I kind of view the mountain as Virgo energy, because Virgo energy talks about us maybe going out. You know, a lot of cards refer to them like being in the wilderness or going in a cave, to take this time to overcome the obstacles that kind of stop you from kind of living in the spotlight of your own life. And high vibe people are looking at life from a higher perspective, putting things in perspective, looking at the big picture. I'm probably going to live 80 years. There are things I want in my life. Do I need them today? Some people are like, oh my God, I need it today. I have to create this certain illusion in my life. I have to look like this type of person. I'm going to look for anybody to go get in a relationship with or take any type of job. And other people are more careful about who they invest their time, energy, and effort into, because they don't want to just use other people for their own selfish gain. You know, they want to feel proud of themselves. High vibe Taurus, I act with character and integrity. You know, shadowy Taurus, is it good for my status and my ego and my image? Who can I invest in that's best for my ego and image? You know, other people are holding back from getting caught up in their head. When they start to get caught up in their head, they stop themselves. It's like you have a dream. You can go repeat this old pattern, but you've been there and done that, and you already know you find that overwhelming. And we're inspired to be in more emotionally mature, inspiring energy and with people who are in that energy. So take the time to work through it, to see the truth that if you operate from the 4 to the 7 is like the 3 of Pentacles, of which foundation am I going to operate from? Which the 2, the 3, and the 4 of Pentacles are all Capricorn energy. Am I going to align with my more worldly view of life, thinking all the things I have to work with are the things of the world? Well, that would be me ignoring investing in my more creative, inspired, intuitive nature, because I do have that to work with. And my intuition has already told me this does not work. And to be inspired that even though it's overwhelming, if we keep taking like those slow, steady steps forward, eventually we will overcome what tries to block us. And it can be other people in our life who are holding back from us, other people in our life who are being deceptive and manipulative, other people not telling the truth or whatever. It's like, you go live your life like that. I am moving beyond you. You are not going to be an obstacle in my life. I will put this in perspective. I will look at life from a higher perspective, and I am closing out the cycle of letting my own mind, my fear, my insecurity, other people in my life. If you are holding back and not investing to work with me to bring a dream into reality, then kind of get behind me, Satan. We are not on the same page, and I am moving on. And the World card talks about closing out a cycle in your life. How is it that you're doing that? You're harnessing high vibe Virgo and Taurus energy. You are investing time, energy, and effort into walking the talk. You are putting in the work to deal with the truth, to maintain balance within yourself, to believe in yourself, to believe in your dreams. And you want to close out a cycle with people who harness this energy in a shadowy way. They try to deceive and manipulate the world, create this illusion that they're these more stable, grounded, insightful, mature people than they really are. They really want to be in a more transactional relationship. It's like, well, then go get in one with someone else. I do not want to exchange resources with people who aren't inspired by love. If you want to be more about the world and your self-protective, defensive nature and live more from your mind than your heart, go do it with someone else. I am not going to exchange resources with you anymore. And maybe, as we move forward in life, because of the world of duality, we're going to meet other people who are kind of in that energy. And it's like, yep, nope, I might have to deal with you at work. I might, you're in the community or in my family, whatever. Peace be with you. But, do I buy into the illusion of who you say you are? No. I've seen the truth of who you are. I could find you kind of prideful or egotistical or bossy or controlling or selfish or whatever, or not willing to close out old cycles. You do you. I'm going to do me. And there can just be some people in our life that, again, we can have love for them. We can wish them the best. Would I want to hang out with you and live life like you? No. Do you want to hang out with me and live life like me? No. We can wish other people peace. You do your thing. It's just harder to say if it's a close friend or a romantic relationship. We really wanted them to move forward with us and kind of be willing to work through some of the things that manipulate them to move forward with us, and they're not ready to, and they may never be ready to. And maybe we just weren't seeing the truth. Maybe when we got in the relationship, we weren't really listening to our intuition. And we have to get out of our pride and ego of thinking we're the boss. Oh, no, I can change them, God. Oh, I know. They're like this or they're like that, or they think this way or they think that way, or they act this way or act that way, and I know that's not really the truth of who I am, but, oh, I can change them. I'm going to put a lot of work and effort to change these people, God. And the fives are about change. And God's like, well, we'll sit here and wait for you while you go try to change other people. Because we learn the lesson. I can offer people peace and love, and I keep moving on. If I see that their truth is different than my truth, that they're not in the same energy as I am, haven't maybe learned some of the same lessons I've learned, driven and motivated by different things, peace be with you. Yep, I'm going to keep moving on. And those are all lessons we have to learn. So now some people have learned those lessons, and it's like, nope, I am not going to be more tempted by my more worldly, egoic, codependent, lustful nature, whatever. If someone isn't doing truth and love and equal give and take in a relationship, and more self-insightful or balanced and abundant within themselves in different ways, where it's not there has to be a balance within people so there can be balance in relationship. And there's other people who don't want that. Like, I want to have these things in the world. You be loving. Let's get in a relationship. But sadly, I think what I bring to the table is more important than what you bring. And then that truth comes out because when they would maybe have to get out of their ego and this way of viewing life and relationships and put in work and effort to heal and grow and mature themselves, it's like, I got these things in the world. How about you go take your loving ass somewhere else and I'll go find someone else who wants to be in a relationship with me because I think I'm the boss, male or female, or they're attractive, or they got social clout, whatever they got. And that's kind of when you see the truth that love really wasn't what drove and motivated them anyway. It was really kind of, in a way, either more about the ego and the image, or it was really more about them. And if people aren't motivated by love, they're not really emotionally investing in a relationship. And you want people who are more balanced within themselves, that they were given their emotional nature, their creative nature. That's just as equally as important to grow and invest in and be self-aware about and know how to work with them as your mind and the things of the world, And there's some people it's like, no, I don't want to invest in that. I don't find that valuable within myself. I try to manipulate other people to have those things to get what I want. And just like people could try to manipulate people for their status and their ego and their image, because they don't really invest in that within themselves, High vibe people are closing out a cycle with people who have a different philosophy of life than them, that might like more transactional relationships because they want authentic relationships. What's coming up for people who harness some more worldly, shadowy Libra energy that they might not see coming up? The Queen of Wands in reverse. Why? Because of the Seven of Wands. Two cards that I view as Leo energy. When people are kind of a little more shadowy, not willing to, they're kind of in more defensive energy, unwilling and maybe rejecting their more high vibrational Leo energy of being emotionally, is what the queens can talk about, connecting in with their more emotionally intuitive nature. And this is a masculine figure. And that can just represent that people are more aligned with their more worldly egoic nature, whether they're male or female. And there's some people who are. And it's all about how I present myself in the world. And I'm sure if I present myself in the world and I use my emotions and my sexuality and my looks and all these things, I'm sure there's people who will want to be in a relationship with me. Well, yeah, some people create really good illusions and people move forward in relationships and they could have been really excited when they first got in the relationship. But as time goes by, the other people, things don't change. They have this way of being that they won't let go of. The truth sets us free to grow and heal and mature ourselves. See kind of what we need to let go of. What are the good building blocks to take with us? And some people are like, there's nothing I want to let go of. I have this way of doing things or viewing life. It might be a little bit more about me. Might be a little bit more about looking like a shining star in the world. And that's how I view life. And eventually the people in their life realize it. It's like the relationship doesn't keep growing and maturing over time because they don't keep growing and maturing over time. And then the people in a relationship with them have to do this work within themselves to figure out, am I going to stay or am I going to go? Because I feel like I got in a situation I didn't realize someone was so kind of like grounded in a way of living life or viewing life that they're unwilling to even look at life from maybe any other perspective. And eventually the people in their life who have been defending them, the high vibe people in their life get out of their ego about it. And they're inspired to stand up for themselves. And I'm going to move on. And I'm going to go find people in the world who, in high vibe, Capricorn, and Aquarius energy, have freed themselves from being more about themselves and more about the world, who do look at life from a higher perspective, who are inspired to also get detached from their more egoic nature, to go on this adventure of hope and faith and belief and love and, be willing to look at things from other perspectives and face our fears, face our insecurities, to kind of grow to our full potential. And because, the more we indulge people in their poor behavior, the more they think we're going to keep indulging in them in their poor behavior. And so, but it is kind of like Judgment Day with the World card. There comes a point in time when people are like, that's it, I'm done. And that's when people are like, oh shit, you're not going to be loving and encouraging to me anymore to try to get me to love and believe in myself and look at life differently. You're defensive to me now? Okay. Well, I never was willing to do life the way you wanted to do it. I guess the gig is up. Now I gotta go find someone else who might be feeling kind of overwhelmed or is kind of more immature or is more materialistic, whether they're in a relationship with someone else or not. Maybe I'll go see if I can tempt them to get in a relationship with me and move forward with me in a relationship, because I am defensive to dealing with the truth of what manipulates me. And other people work through what manipulated them. They're ready to go to the next phase of life. It's kind of like people who at different ages of their life stayed stuck in a time warp. And other people are like, but I want to become more like an 18-year-old. I don't want to stay like a 15-year-old all my life. And then I want to become more like an 21-year-old. And I don't want to be like an 18-year-old all my life. And I think as we get older, when we're young, we have so many things to learn and so many, kind of taking on new responsibilities. And then as we get older, it might be like 25 to 30, 30 to 35. Then it might be 35 to 45, then 45 to 55, and then hopefully by then, the people who are continually moving forward and learning and growing as they do, they keep doing it. And we can be in jobs, friendships, and relationships with people for a long time. And we could get to an issue within their philosophy of life that I just can't work through that one. I just don't view life that way. Some people just don't believe there's any higher truth or justice to aspire to in the world. We're on the world says to make our life about this, or I think life really is, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Just don't believe that there's rules to this game of life. And I think with us having been given free will and we have to make decisions, and, the animals are kind of more base nature. Some people who are human beings operate more from their base nature, but they can try to deceive the world that they're really driven more by their more base animalistic nature, right? Of selfishness and greed and pride and self-centeredness. Other people have the free will to give birth to something new. And so it's just the karmic outcome. Other people do close out chapters in their life. They move forward in life and they do give birth to something new. They have brand new beginnings that are abundant in lots of ways because they learned these lessons and grew and matured themselves. They're like in the flow of the universe. And they move forward in life, inspired to learn these lessons and to free themselves from their more selfish, greedy, prideful, petty, envious, jealous, egotistical, self-centered, immature nature. And as they move forward in life, there's people who want to stay in relationships with them that even when they are tempted by other things, they're like, I don't want to give this up. I could have my dreams come into reality with this person because I view life the same way they do. And then there's other people, it's like, only if I can deceive and manipulate you or control you. Only if I can keep being immature and prideful and egotistical. But otherwise, I don't appreciate justice and fairness and truth and love because I might not believe in love anyway, and I don't want to do love. I get hurt doing love. I prefer to live more from my mind than my heart. I'm not going in the danger zone. I'll go get in a relationship with someone where I don't have to do that. And I think eventually those people will find themselves overwhelmed. And I think eventually they'll find out that they thought they were so smart that this was the way to stay safe and not get hurt, but they were deceiving themselves. They don't have probably authentic, warm, and loving relationships because of their defensiveness. And the people who are willing to stay in a relationship with them might be because of their own defensiveness. So then we have people who are overwhelmed trying to manipulate and control people in workplaces and relationships out of their fear, their insecurity, or whatever other reason. And other people are in these abundant, stable, equal give and take, loving relationships. Who had the better idea? You know? It's kind of like we have the ability to invest in what we want to invest our time, energy, and effort into. Some people were illuminated to the truth. I would rather have a small group of friends, not even be in a romantic relationship, if the people that are in my life are loving and encouraging and supportive. And maybe as I move forward one day, I'll meet the people who are more on the same page as me. Some other people weren't willing to wait. They got themselves tangled up in something. Might be overwhelming. Then what if somebody who they want to be in a relationship with shows up and it's like, oh, well, shit, I created this illusion of how wonderful this is. Now I'm kind of in my ego about getting out of it. I might stay in it more for these other things of the world. You know, to live a life of creating an illusion. And some people are doing that because what's most important to them is a certain status or image, or want someone who's fearful and more codependent. You're never going to leave, right? So I'll always be able to indulge in a relationship and have someone to indulge in a relationship because maybe they're really concerned about their sexual nature, right? And then they get trapped in situations that aren't very warm and loving, but they're going to defend it anyway because they're unwilling to be more bold and brave and confident, to believe in themselves and believe in their dreams. Teach their own. There you go, Libra. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.